We had a very interesting discussion of investment opportunities in Germany this morning at the Global Property Market Conference here in Toronto. We had a panel consisting of Wenzel Holberg from CPPIB, Lisa Lefay from Hoop, and Bruce Travesey from the Dream Global REIT, basically looking at different strategies for investing in Europe's largest market. The conclusion was there are still very attractive opportunities in spite of the flow of capital, both domestic and international, that's been coming into Germany over the last 24 months. Various sectors were discussed, including office, retail, and logistics. The bottom line was it's a good time to be investing in Germany, but you need a good, strong local partner and a strategy that makes sense in the context of those opportunities. Typically in these conference panels, the discussion is, what do you do and why do you do it? We tend to get the same answers all the time, and so we finished today in our panel with the question, what wouldn't you do? What would you recommend investors avoid? And I think the bottom line for all three of our panelists was to stick to things that you know, look at the market, but most importantly, avoid making financial engineering decisions and stick to the knitting of buying good real estate at fair prices. One of the real concerns I have sitting in the US looking at Europe relates to the geopolitical risk that I see going on now in Europe. I'm particularly concerned by the impact of the refugee crisis, not so much on where we're going to house them, how we're going to feed them, how we're going to educate them, but rather the stress that it's putting the EU under. The tensions that exist, particularly coming out of Poland and Hungary in recent weeks, suggest a stress level in Europe, I think, much more severe than what we saw with the Greek currency crisis, because they go right to the basic heart of what Europe is meant to be. The whole idea of closing borders that have been open now since the Single European Act raises concern from an investor's perspective as to what is the future of Europe as a political entity, much more so, I think, than even the potential exit of the UK from the EU. Now in its 10th year, the Global Property Market Conference has grown into a very significant event, both for Canadian investors looking to invest outside of Canada, but also for international managers who come here to meet with the investors. This year's attendance is the highest ever, and I would say also the strongest attendance in terms of the number of institutional investors represented here who are now looking actively at investing outside of Canada. It's a great opportunity for those of us who come from the US and from Europe and Asia to meet with investors to talk about what their strategies might be for the current year and going on into the future.